Hi, I'm the PC Expert Amateur, and we're going to take a look at a different brand now, the Enermax 12 centimeter Everest Advance with Batwing blade design and removable propeller, although I think you have to undo the screw in order to remove it, although it just shows on the web page. It doesn't show anything here, but on the web page it just shows you put your thumbs against the back and you push. But I tried pushing carefully and it definitely was not coming off. So I'm fairly certain there's a screw hiding underneath the label here, and that you have to actually release that screw before you can take it off and clean it. Now, it says the blades are removable, but after inspecting it, the blades are clearly, or seemed clearly, impossible to remove, and it doesn't show any way to remove them either. So, yeah, a little bit misleading, and they're very poor on instructions. When I got this cable was all wrapped up really, really tightly with a corkscrew going around the outside, and it was very difficult to get it apart. So, I mean, once I got it apart, it was okay, but God, it was like, why would they do that? It's just stupid. So imagine that, but worse, with about 2 times more twists and shorter on this end and on that end, so there's very little exposed. I think the person who did that was in a bad mood because, oh my gosh, it took me a few minutes to get it undone. And I'm just glad that it didn't destroy the cable. You know what I mean? That would have been very irksome. Beyond irksome, even. Because I doubt they make this fan anymore. Although it's probably still on their website. Oh, wait, no, it is on their website. So maybe they do not make it, but maybe it's still available somewhere or other. I really don't know. I just know I did not like that. It made me... And the fact that they didn't bother to document properly how to remove the fan blade assembly, and they didn't document properly about the fact that there's a thermistor that that actually controls the temperature. So when hold on a second, because there's also a 3-position switch right there that can be used to set the speed. However, that 3-position switch is dependent on the temperature measured by this. So if you don't use the thermistor, it will always run at the lowest speed, and it'll be 8 decibels of noise. Now, I tried all 3 settings. I listened very carefully. I felt it. No change whatsoever. Then I held it in my hand, and lo and behold, it started to speed up. It would have been nice if they had documented that fact, that it was dependent on the thermistor and that the switch only works in response to the thermistor. A little bit irritating. Plus, they do have a toggle switch to turn the blue LEDs on and off. So again, there are 3 modes. The minimum speed for each of them is 500. The maximum is 1,000, 1,300, and 1,600. Now, on the box it says the minimum noise is 8. On the website it says the maximum noise is 8. Well, I'm going to tell you right now. The minimum noise is 8. The maximum is not. I don't know what the maximum noise is because my body is not hot enough to make it go that fast. Can you tell I'm a little bit irritated? It also comes with 4 rubber pins for mounting and an adapter to go from a 2-pin DC to a 2-pin Molex. Ooh, how exciting. Now, we're not done because aside from the Batwing design, now look at that. I mean, it looks kind of cool. Notice something about the edges here? It says Enermax. Well, guess what? Those are literally holes that allow airflow to escape out the sides. And they market that as 20 to 30% extra airflow on their various brands that have this carved halo frame. Seriously, Intermax? Come on. So the three mode switch that they have, that is on the Fantex T30, and I forgot which other fans it's on. Let me see here. Let me consult my handy dandy list so far. Let's see. It's on the AeroCool Lightwave and the Blue Gears B Flexi 120 and Silent Wings Pro 4. Those are the ones I can think of. Okay. So they couldn't bother to say, yeah, there's a switch to adjust the maximum speed it'll go at depending on the temperature. They just had to say APS, adjustable peak speed control. And it does, however, suggest indirectly that the speed is not controlled by you, because it says right here, auto speed. Yeah. And it's a little bit vague, but what they say on the back is built-in thermal sensor for auto adjusted fan speed control. I just didn't quite grasp what that meant. I guess I was being stupid or something. Or maybe, this is what happens sometimes. As smart as I am, I still get confounded by differences in language. Clearly this was written by somebody from another country who's pretty good at English, but not 100% fluent. And thus, it didn't register with me that I didn't have a choice. Now, there's another interesting thing about this fan, and that it has a twister bearing. Now, according to the box, it says 100,000 hours lifetime. According to the website, it says greater than 160,000 hours, which makes it better than the Noctua SSO2. However, there's no warranty. So it's, kind of just a little bit dubious. Just a little bit. So anyways, now that I'm done venting, I'm sorry. It just gets on my nerves when the marketing team realizes, oh, we've got a crappy product here, and so our goal is going to be to embellish with market speak so that people think that these drawbacks are actually positives. Now, the only one that I'm saying is actually a drawback out of all of these things is the carved halo frame. I cannot speak. And the blue light, they wrote blue lightning LED. The LED is a drawback because it sucks power away from the fan. So if you want a little bit more performance from this fan, turn off with that toggle switch the LED and put the speed switch on the maximum one, 500 to 1600 RPMs. But smart APS, I think, that could potentially be really good, especially if you can't connect this to your motherboard or your motherboard doesn't have the ability to control it. And in fact, this one probably cannot be controlled by your motherboard because it has that auto adjust using the thermistor. So that's going to override because it overrode my fan controller. So it's clearly going to override a motherboard as well. So you don't need a motherboard for this one. You just need some source of power to plug it in, which could be that. So that makes it wholly independent. And you could position that one. In fact, you could position it with a thermistor at the top of the case somewhere where it gets hot, that it gets hot, and then that fan would be an exhaust fan, and it would go faster or slower depending on how much heat it was detecting. I think that would be an interesting usage for it. The only problem I foresee is wherever you put it, unless you're not using your Molex D PSU adapter, if you have one, for other things, you're going to have a hard time plugging the fan into this, even with this somewhat long cable, if it's too far away. Well, hopefully it won't be that far away. Hopefully, if you put it on rear exhaust, that should theoretically be okay. I'm really going on and on. I'm sorry. It vexed me. So the model number is UCEVA 12T, or the Everest Advance. I'm glad they didn't say Everest Advanced, although probably for the time it was advanced. And I've never heard of the twister bearing until I looked at this. So it is interesting. It is quite interesting to me. But at the same time, quite irritating because of these little things that they didn't document, and then trying to get that cord unwound and so on and so forth. I'm so sorry. I'm just babbling on and on and on and on and on here. It just theoretically, and again, because it's dependent on the thermistor, I cannot effectively demonstrate the true range of speed of this device. I can stick it in my mouth and let my body heat at least change the temperature some, but it does have a weird harmonic thing going on, and I'm not sure if that's gonna go away as it gets faster or not. Because again, I couldn't really do a major temperature increase in my body, and I'm not gonna put a lighter or a match underneath it because I'd probably end up melting the thermistors. All right, so first of all, I'm sure that you would like to take another look at this. So we've got the Batwing blades and the removable propeller, but don't forget to check and remove that screw, because I'm pretty sure there's no other way to get it off there, because the amount of force I applied was enough that it should have popped off, unless the magnet is holding on to another magnet and it's really, really powerful. But I'm terrified that I'm going to snap blades off of this thing if I push too hard or just totally destroy it. So I'm not going to bother. I'm not planning on taking it off to clean it anyways. It's not that hard to clean fan blades. So yeah, just take another look. And let me plug it in and get the lights on so you can see that. Actually, I have a different idea. I'm not sure how this is going to work out, but there it is. We're going to give this a try. I've got my Zalman fan controller on the floor because I can't. The cord's not long enough. But it's supposed to. Wait a second. Oh, it's going to drive me crazy. I'm serious. This is just really irritating. Because. Come here, you. Oh, not you, fan. I don't want you to fall and break yourself. I'm supposed to be able to connect this to my Zalman fan controller with a special connector that is connected to my power supply and connected to, yeah, it's already on, and connected to yeah, it's connected in a bunch of different ways, and including the Mole XD that I'm talking about. And yeah, it's a bit of a monstrosity, but I hope you can see that. There. Now I can see what you can see. All right, so from this side, it doesn't look like much. With this side, it's a little bit interesting, because the Batwing blade refracts the light in an interesting way. So I kind of like that. But, people are bored with that. That's why there are now RGB and ARGB fans. But, you can turn it off and on and off and on and off and on. And again, you can save electricity. You can increase performance by not using the LEDs. I really don't care about LEDs. Although the light reflecting off of this Batwing blade is kind of interesting, because it's like this spiral going from the outside edge to the hub. So that's kind of like, I suppose if I were on drugs, I'd be like, oh, that's so cool. Fortunately for you, I don't do drugs. Drugs? What are drugs? Oh, is it like a bruv? Hey, bruv, you want a druv? I'm a little unhinged today. Yesterday was a rough day at work. Amazon's management, they're like so non-confrontational that even though people are stealing time and not doing their job, they won't generally do anything about it. And if you complain, if they don't see it happening, they don't do anything about it. And which I understand, because people complain and lie about each other all the time, but it's frustrating, especially when you go to them and say, hey, this is what's going on, and then they say, okay, I'll check it, and they don't. Like that's what I did yesterday. There were these two people that were just pissing me off, and I went and told the manager. I was very angry because I was working my butt off all day. I mean, I still got an injured shoulder. I'm forced to go back to full duty, and these people were being lazy butts, and I went over there and said, oh yeah, I'm going to go take care of that. And no, he didn't. But then again, he shouldn't be a manager. Sean, you shouldn't be a manager. Yeah, I'm going to publicly shame you, Sean. I'm just not giving your last name, but it starts with an L. All right, enough about that. I don't want to go down that route. I'm going to stop talking about Amazon and my job, because I'm going to get really aggravated. And I'm already kind of a little bit aggravated because of this fan. And the shenanigans I'm going to have to go through in order to demonstrate even a modicum of the speed range and noise level of this fan. Because, that's what I do, right? Yeah. Okay, so here we go. Oh, that's right. I was going to show you, I guess. All right, I'm going to show you. I'm going to do two things here. First of all, I've got it on my Copal fan controller, and right now the power's off, so it can't run. So now I'm going to just try to see how. Oh, it almost started. I'm trying to find the starting point. Oh, wow. That's, what the heck? Oh, there we go. Okay, I'm going to back off. See how low I can get it. See, now I'm forcing it to slow down. I can't make it go faster, but I can make it go slower by starving it of electricity. I do hear this of the bearings. This fan does not like being horizontal. I mean vertical. Doesn't like being that way either. It doesn't like being any other way. Okay, this fan, the bearings are not happy with me, so I'm going to see if I can get any slower. Wow, look at that. The only thing I can hear is the bearings. Do you hear that? If you can hear the bearings right now, let me know. It's like the... All right, let's speed it up. And this is like, if it weren't for the bearings... I would say, 0 decibels. Now I can barely hear it as it's speeding up. I also do hear, and I'm guessing it's probably from the sides. I do hear this kind of droning sound, but it's quiet. If this were in my case, I would never hear it. I don't think anybody would. Now, even at this speed, it's barely audible. So let me do something crazy. Don't worry, this is not going to electrocute me. It's not going to electrocute me. It's a thermistor. Even at 98.6 degrees, it's still so quiet. Let me try plugging it into the other one and see if anything's different. Like maybe my brain explodes. Nope, that's fine. Well, I really need an extension for my Molex. Really find it frustrating that anybody still uses Molex. I seem to have no choice in the matter. All right, it is plugged in. And I don't really see the point of comparing this to the Noctua, especially since it's so challenging. And I'm going to. It's not even register. Oh, it's registering 520 RPMs. Wow. Let me see how many RPMs I can get it up to with this in my mouth. 800. 780, 790, 800. $870. 80. Power load 145 watts. What? It's not showing the temperature. How bizarre. So I couldn't even get it up to the maximum of the minimum mode. But still, that was interesting. And I don't really understand where the 142 watts was coming from. Because okay. So now it's not plugged into anything and it's still giving me a power reading. Ah! The power reading's going all over the place. It just went to 151. And I've got nothing plugged in. What the heck? That's bizarre. Okay. I wish I had a good fan controller. I wish I knew how to use Arduino to make my own, but I don't. All right. So you have heard this is super quiet. I would love to be able to make it really hot. Let me see if I can do that. Hold on a second. Yeah, nothing in my computer is even as hot as my mouth at this time. So that's such a weird thing to say. Can you? That'll probably be a meme for the rest of my existence. Nothing on my computer is as hot as my mouth. And they'll have some. Yeah. Okay. Somebody is already whipping up a picture to go with that phrase. And I will just be tied to that eternally. Right. I need a katana. Oh my gosh. So interesting, so vexing at the same time. Um, yeah. Please chime in with your thoughts on the twister bearing, on the auto control of the speed via the thermistor, and so on and so forth, the bat wings. I would love to be able to get this up to 1600 RPMs so that I could hear, the noise level. You know what? I've got an idea. Hold on. Oh my God, 25 minutes in, and I'm still not done. I'm so sorry. If anybody's actually still watching this, I will be in shock. Right, so here's what I'm going to do. I've got a candle burning now, and you may not believe it, but there it is right there. And it smells nice. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try not to melt this thing, and I'm going to try to get it to go faster by using the thermistor or abusing the thermistor. So let's see how this goes. I can just, I wish the whole thing were just a little bit longer. Why did they make such a short thermistor cable? All right, I'm going to put it on top of my drink container, and we're going to find out what is going on here. Oh, it's speeding up. But also I think it might be melting my thermistor, so I got to. There we go. There we go. There we go. That's what it sounds like. Yeah. Listen to that. That's what it sounds like. Woohoo! There we go. Now the true sound level has been revealed. Unfortunately, I cannot hold the Noctua while I'm doing this, because I'm afraid I'm going to destroy my thermistor. And that seems to be the maximum speed. Let me change the setting a little bit. Okay, so I'm going to put it on the lowest setting now, and let's see what happens. Okay, so that should be 1,000 RPMs. Too close. Now I'm going to put it up to 1,300. And so I keep on hearing some harmonics, although it doesn't seem to settle on those RPMs. At least not right now. Let me make it a little bit cooler. Put it up a few inches. It's like a science experiment. Oh, this is so goofy. Yeah, that's interesting. All right, I'm done playing. I'm sorry. I have taken up almost a half an hour of your time for the one person who actually had the stamina to actually see this part of it. Ooh, special effects. Yeah, you can call me a crazy old man. I admit it. I am. I would have put it out, unlit it. I would have turned it off. I find it so funny when people talk about candles and say, "I want to turn it off." That's a phrasal verb that's exclusive to things that use electricity. You can't turn off something that uses heat. You just put it out. If you have reached this far in this video, which is insanely long, I want you to write in the comments, "I survived 30." Just 30. Don't write 30 minutes. Just, "I survived 30." And that way I will know that you actually made it to the end, and you will be held in high esteem by me for doing that thing. And if nobody does it, hey, then I understand. I don't blame anybody for not getting to this point. But if you did actually listen to the whole 30 minutes, just write, I survived 30. And please like, subscribe, and share so we can build this channel up and make it into something monumental. And oh, by the way, don't forget to give some support to poor Jay-Z over at Jay's 2 Cents, because he is suffering from an unknown malady that is making his health plummet. And also Physics Girl is also feeling poorly. And also Lawrence Abrams Grindler, the owner of Bleeping Computer, he is recovering from major surgery. So lots of shout outs for Bleeping Computer, for Darknet Diaries, and for those people. Let's take a look at the data. Speed run time. Okay, Enermax Everest Advanced APS clear with blue LED and UCE VA12T. And let's see here. What else have we got to share with you? Oh, yes. 29 centimeter cable for the thermistor, the LED on-off toggle, batwing blades, detachable propeller, carved halo frame for extra, blah, 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 20 to 30% airflow, 3-pin smart APS adjustable peak speed control, which means a 3-way switch to change the speeds from 500 to 1,000 up to 1,300 up to 1,600. Built-in thermal sensor for auto adjusted fan speed control. Yeah, that's the thermistor. Twister bearing. Oh my God, I'm repeating myself. And so on and so forth. Isolator mounts for shockproof. That's the rubber pins. Anyways, clear and white frame, and then a translucent or clear blade that's batwing shaped, I guess you could say. Not really batwing, because I'd feel sorry for a batwing that had to fly with wings like that. $14 at the time that I purchased it. CE and ROHS certifications, made in China, 120 by 25 dimensions. Over 160,000 hours, no warranty that I could find. LEDs, not RGB or RGB. 120 grams, 9 blades, 105 millimeters of distance between the mounting holes, 500 to 1,000, 1,300, or 1,600 RPMs. The airflow minimum is 26.51 CFM. The maximums for those 3 speeds are 46.1, 60.11, and 76. And then we get into the CMH, which is metric. 45.04 minimum up to 78.32, 100.13, and 129.12 cubic meters per hour. The minimum static pressure is 0.483 millimeters of water. And then the maximum is 0.933, 1.268, and 1.907, which makes this fan suitable for air coolers and case duty. Are you on the case? Minimum decibels, 8, which is pretty nearly silent. Maximum, I would say that's, I'm going to guess around 25 to 30 somewhere. Fan cable length is 51 centimeters, no daisy chaining, no sleeving, 3-pin DC. It's got a twister bearing from Enermax, 12 volts, 2.4 watts with a minimum of 1.8 and a maximum of 3.6 due to the 3 different speeds. The amps are minimum of 0.15, 0.2, and then maximum of 0.3. No indicators of direction or flow, but it is clockwise moving. And it has 4 rubber pins, and it has a speed switch and an LED mode switch, which is in this case on and off. And it's got a 2-pin Molex D adapter, and that's it, which is more than normal. And I didn't talk about the Noctua since we didn't officially compare it to the Noctua, given the challenge I had in doing what I did with having it in my mouth. Don't start a meme. That's all. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a great day. Please like, subscribe, and share.